A brand new movie, Our Brand is Crisis, starring Sandra Bullock, hits theaters this weekend. It's based on the true story of the campaign and marketing tactics used in the 2002 Bolivian presidential election.
Andy DiOrio of the Public Relations Society of America joins us this morning to talk about the importance of communication when dealing with a PR crisis. So when something bad happens to a client, how do you spin into action? What happens first?
Right, so 3 easy things whenever a crisis happens, and that's empathy, explain, and then evaluate. So empathy, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. So explain to them kind of you understand their concern, why things are happening, and then let them know, okay, here's what we know now. So at least they have an insight as far as what's happening in the situation, so they don't go off and creating their own narrative or their own story. And then finally, evaluate. How is our messaging being received by our audiences? So in politics, they do that with polls. You know, after every debate, are the polls going up or down for my candidate? And so those 3 easy steps are a way to kind of how to mitigate when a crisis just happens.
Now we're talking about Our Brand is Crisis, and then there's the Olivia Pope show.
Right,
There's Scandal, which everyone loves. Olivia Pope, played by Kerry Washington. She's the fixer. It looks really glamorous. What's it like in real life?
Well,
is it like the movies, like the TV show?
Everyone thinks, so PR is like Samantha on Sex and the City, it's red carpets, it's parties and everything. But public relations communications does a lot of work behind the scenes to make their candidate or their client look good and have the quality messaging out in public. So it's not all glamorous, but it's a lot of work, but it's very fast-paced. And so that's why it can be very exciting, because a lot happens all at once. And even Hollywood got it a little bit actually right with Our Brand in Crisis.
Yeah, what did you think? Because you saw the movie. What did you take away from the movie as somebody who lives this life every day?
It's a really interesting movie on how that story happens. And Sandra Bullock takes the reins of an underdog candidate, and then I won't ruin the ending, but you can see how the campaign goes. And she has a great point in the movie, which does apply to real-life PR, and that is sometimes you can't make the man or woman fit the narrative. You have to make the narrative fit the man or woman. So sometimes you can't shoehorn someone or your client or your product into a general message that you think the public wants. Instead, take that candidate or the public and make them just, buy into really what they are and what they stand for. I mean, look at Donald Trump. He's kind of outside the box sometimes, but he's very strong conviction in what he believes, and that's how you see him rise in the polls, because people latch on to that, because he is very convincing and he is holding to his own beliefs.
It's interesting because sometimes we don't want to think someone has been encouraged by a public relations specialist to believe something. We want to think that it's their beliefs. So how do you make sure it doesn't seem like they're being pulled by puppet strings?
Right. So some of it does have to appeal to their natural inclination or what they naturally say. And sometimes all people need is a little enhancement or a little tweaking. Or it could be, Joel, you did a great job saying this. If you just change that one word, your messaging can reach a lot more audiences that way and that sort of thing. So it's really behind the scenes. It's more of a enhancement as opposed to a complete puppet master effect.
I worked for a congressional candidate once, and he fell off the back of the stage at the debate. So our headline was, see how fast he got up?
That's right.
Yeah, so that's
you want a fighter as a candidate,
that. He got up, he came right back.
Exactly right. And so the movie talks about changing that narrative, and for going from having the people think it's an election to having people think the country's in a crisis, and now we have a candidate that can fight for you in that crisis.
It's really good stuff. Okay, well, thank you so much, Andy. Appreciate your time. And Our Brand is Crisis hits theaters this Friday. We'll have a link to the website on ours, kclive.tv later on today. Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right, coming up, our deep